Guys, what's going on? It's Joe from gadgetrytech.com, and today I'm going to talk about the ROCCAT Torch USB-C microphone. It's only $100 and it has some really cool, slick features that make it kind of unique in this price point. So with that being said, I want to focus on the features, who I think this is meant for, and also, you know, we're a very honest reviewing channel. I don't like to lie and BS and mislead you guys. So with that being said, if you want pure maximum sound quality and that's all you care about, there are other microphones just slightly more expensive that give you a little bit better sound quality. Not by much, but they're very unforgiving in certain areas. We're going to get into all that. This is a great mic at $100, and I think just to get right to the point, if you're a streamer who's just starting out, or you want to start streaming, you want to start doing some podcasting, you don't have the $500 to $1,000 budget to go all in on gear. The goal of ROCCAT is to give you a lot of cool stuff, but keep it at the $100 price point. So it's not going to be your audiophile mic because it's not priced accordingly. And it has some really slick features that I think increase the value more at the $100 than just pure sound quality. The reason why I say that, guys, is when you're streaming, you're not streaming at a studio grade audio output. If you have a crappy mic, sure, you're going to notice it, but you're not necessarily going to hear the full 24-bit, 48 kilohertz sound capability that even the ROCCAT Torch can do. So the sound overhead that you get on this is still excellent. And then what's really cool about this is the mixer controls. There's actually some other awesome things about it, but I want to start with the mixer controls because to me the biggest selling point to this is how it comes. Now you get 3 different pickup patterns. You get the stereo pickup pattern, which is going to be a little bit wider, more open sound, and I'm going to do a cool trick right now. Let's get that to turn on. So I'm on the stereo mode. It lights up in purple. There's RGB. You can only customize one thing on it. I'll explain that, but basically when you're in stereo mode, it's purple. When you adjust the gain, you see the slider go up and down on the mic. That's indicating your gain level. So that's a really cool little feature to get the visual indicator. Stereo, nice and open sounding, a little bit less noise rejection, doesn't focus just on the front of the mic. So if you want a more natural capture of the room, to me it's the best sounding profile on here, but it can pick up more background noise. The most popular one, of course, is the cardioid mode. And that one gives you a little bit more focused pattern towards the front and center. It's going to help with some noise rejection, and ultimately I think most streamers are going to use that. That obviously lights up in green. And then if I go into the whisper mode, this is their little proprietary thing. One of their biggest selling points to me is the whisper mode. The reason why I'm starting to get into features right off the bat, and by the way, I have a lot of microphones next to me. I'm going to do a really cool mic test soon so you can hear it. I'm not here to BS and waste your guys' time. The whisper mode has automatic gain control. For those who don't know what that is, this is a huge thing for streamers. When you have Streamlabs OBS or Twitch Studio or the real OBS, XSplit, whatever you like to use for streaming, if you've done it in the past, you know that getting your audio dialed in, huge pain in the butt. And a lot of the other microphones, I'm going to give you an example. Blue Yeti, super popular mic, sounds great. It's massive in comparison. I mean, look at the difference of the footprint it takes up on your desk. This can be unforgiving on the range of volume your voice goes. I'm a gamer. I like to stream sometimes, but I don't have this perfect monotone level. I stay at the same distance. My voice stays at the same volume. When you're playing, especially when you're streaming, you should have some emotion in your stream. That's what helps, right? So what I like about this is if you're talking to your buddy and you're like, you know, kind of whispering like, hey man, hold on a sec. He's coming. He's sneaking up on you, something like that. You're not going to be screaming that at him. The whisper mode boosts you talking quietly so your audience can still hear it and enjoy what you're saying to your friends instead of like, you know, back here, you can't really hear me. That is huge, huge, huge for your stream, because if you dial in the other mic to not clip out when you yell, that means when you're whispering, people can barely hear you. Then you get all those comments, hey, speak up, I can't hear you, your audio's off, whatever. That's big. Then on the other side of it, if you scream and you get really excited, you know, the whole boom headshot moment. Like boom headshot, boom headshot. This has automatic clipping capability or clipping reduction, if you will. So that automatic gain control will reduce the gain on the mic as you yell, and it happens really, really fast. It's not as quick as the Elgato Wave 3's clip guard feature, But realistically, and I've tested this a lot, it's like 95% there. So if you scream, maybe a half second to a split second of distortion, and that's very unnoticeable to most people, but it immediately corrects it and it's still crystal clear. I said that feature first because I know everyone doesn't stick around for YouTube videos forever. The most important thing to me is the whisper mode and that automatic gain adjustment, because as a streamer, that's the most important feature. You want good bass quality sound for sure, but you don't want it too quiet and you don't want it distorting and clipping out when you yell. It sounds like crap and it makes your stream look a little unprofessional. So that is a massive feature, guys. And then you get the cool things that you have a mixer control built in. You have your volume, which adjusts your Windows volume. This isn't a hardware volume. It is adjusting the Windows volume control on the screen. So when it's connected to a computer, that's all that does. These features are cool. Now, the one nifty thing on this is that on the back, there's a little switch, okay? This back switch adjusts the motion detection sensitivity. It's either off, so you don't have accidental mute, normal or low sensitivity, and then high sensitivity. I'm on the medium setting right now. And what that means is if I wave my hand over it, a little bit lower now, I guess. So now it's muted. So the high sensitivity, I can go higher. I'm on higher now. And look at that. So it's nice when it works the way it's supposed to for dialing in the sensitivity. So the reason why I like proximity mute and unmute is when you touch a microphone, you're going to pick up bass and clicking sounds, thumping sounds, and that gets sent to your stream. So having a push button mute means that your stream's going to hear a pop if you have to mute it. Again, you have to keep in mind, a lot of people looking for an affordable all-in-one mic, they don't necessarily have the gear to have a separate audio control system to mute and unmute, whether it's a Stream Deck or something else. So the fact that it's proximity means you can mute and you don't have to worry about your audience hearing that thump. So again, these are all incredibly smart features to make your streaming performance as good and seamless as possible. I can't stress these things enough. The automatic gain control, which has a voice compressor built in, the proximity mute. None of these mics next to me have a proximity mute. The Elgato has gain control, but that's almost double the price. So there's a lot of really slick features on here. Now, to add to that, there is a headphone output on this. It does show up as the Torch for your audio sound card for output on Windows. So if you want to hook up headphones directly to the mic, you can. It's not a crazy powerful headphone amp. You know, it's like 150 milliwatts tops at 16 ohms. So it's not going to be your studio level one, but it's nice to get controls all built into one deck. And because of that, you can use Windows to do microphone side tone to hear yourself if you want to hear how you sound on the mic. So I like the adjustability. I like the convenience. On the RGB side, this uses ROCCAT Neon, which is their new software. There's nothing to adjust on the mic. The big selling point to this is it's low resource, low overhead, no necessary drivers, just plug and play. You only use ROCCAT Neon if you want to change this logo only. The other controls right here, these don't customize. Those are completely tied to your audio profiles. But ROCCAT Neon allows you to change this center logo. The only reason why you really want to do that is if you have the new ROCCAT headset, and I have that around here somewhere, the Syn Pro Air. So if you're using the Syn Pro Air and you have Neon AMO enabled, that does like dynamic audio or color profiles based off activity on your computer, that icon syncs to the headset's color profile. That's basically it right now. So out of the box, again, I hope I made my point across. The big kicker to me is for streamers, this has got to be the most robust, easy to use, lightweight, affordable mic for streaming. These features are so big, and anyone who's streamed in the past will know how important those features are, because now you don't have to deal with adding a compressor and OBS and trying to tune it or you know, the noise gate, if you will, all those things. Like, it's nice to have a lot of that built in. Now, there's two things it does not have. I mentioned the noise gate. It doesn't have like a threshold cutoff. It has a natural progression of noise rejection. So if you have some background noise, you can still add a noise gate in streaming. The other one, again, this is from a lot of personal testing. There's no high pass filter on the mic, which means if you hit your desk a lot, that bass gets picked up on the mic, and your stream, if they have subwoofers on the other side, they're going to hear that thump once in a while. It puts it right into the mic. There's no suspension mount, if you will. So if that's important to you, there are VST plugins you can get, and that will do a high pass filter to reduce low bass frequencies. I'm sure if you see other people do reviews on this, if they didn't do post-production audio correction, you're going to hear bass and rumbling and stuff like that. That's just the way it is. It's $100. Again, I just want to let you know from a streaming perspective, the only thing you really need is a noise gate and a filter for bass reduction. But if you don't hit your desk, not critical. Now, there are a couple nifty things with this. It comes with 2 cords for the mic. So you have a 6.5 foot long USB-C braided cable. Nothing proprietary there. The USB-C that goes from the microphone to the bass is proprietary. It does not use a standard USB-C pinout. I tried this. Normal USB-C cables do not work. So if this fails, you cannot replace it unless you get one through the ROCCAT website or through support. They give you this short cable, which is cool. Now, this is removable. So if you don't want your microphone on the bass, let's say you bought a boom and you have a soft suspension mount, you can mount this to that. It uses a 3/8 inch microphone mount, so which is a standard mount. It's on the larger side, but this will go to any boom without any issues. And then the only thing that I want to point out is on the bass, when you unscrew it, that little screw stays there. So may not look as good, but again, it's $100 and at least you get the flexibility. This comes with a longer USB-C cable. This is 6 feet. To some, it may not be long enough because this has to run over the boom and then back down to that bass unit. It should still be fine, but this is, again, it's proprietary, so 6 feet is what you get. I don't think anything else will work as far as extensions go because they use custom pinouts because of the whole RGB power thing. So the microphone audio quality is arguably the most important part of this review, so I'm sorry it took a minute to get to this point. But it's, again, so critical to know what this offers as far as uniqueness at this price point, because to me, that's worth it in the end over a slightly higher potential sound quality on other mics that are not as forgiving for streaming and what most people would buy this for as far as that use case goes. So I hope you found that part helpful. With that being said, I'm going to do the mic test on this guy. We'll start talking to it, see what you guys think, and then I have, just to show you what I'm going to do here, you have the Blue Yeti, which I mentioned earlier, the Wave 3, I'm going to put this guy back, the Samson Meteor mic, and the Movo UM300. This is a new one from them. It's a $60 mic. Just wanted to show you the perspective. But yeah, and the Samson, just in case I don't say this during the recording, has the same bass pickup issues as the ROCCAT Torch. It has no high pass filter, so it picks up everything, whereas the Yeti and the Wave 3 do not do that. So anyway, let's get to the mic test. All right, so now I'm talking to you on the ROCCAT Torch microphone, and it sounds good. It's not going to be your studio level quality sound. It's not priced accordingly, but it has a very natural sound pickup. I don't have to put my mouth right in front of it, but if I did and I started talking loudly, the automatic gain control is going to adjust the volume accordingly, make sure I don't distort. Then I can pull back a little bit, and as I start talking, it's going to keep doing a good job of normalizing the sound. So if I want to open up the sound a little bit more, I can go into stereo mode. I was in cardioid mode. Now I'm in stereo mode. It's going to have a slightly more open, slightly more clear sounding sound profile at the expense of some more background noise being accepted. So if you're typing on a keyboard, it should pick that up a little bit more. Whereas again, in cardioid mode, it's going to have some noise rejection. It's not going to be a night and day difference, but it does help a little bit. I think most people will stay in the cardioid mode just because it's the best for streaming as far as balancing out the noise rejection goes and still giving you a really good pickup pattern up front. Now the whisper mode is really cool. The whisper mode is going to turn this mic blue, so let's switch that now. So what's really cool about the whisper mode, I'm talking normally. The mic got a little bit louder, so that's good, but if I start to whisper and I start talking quietly like this, it's actually still going to pick me up really well. And that's, again, the automatic gain control just doing its magic. So as I talk louder and louder and louder, and I say, "Whoa, watch out, dude!" You know, it's going to clip maybe for a split second in whisper mode if you yell, but it's not going to blow the drivers out for anyone that's listening. So this is really good for people who like to talk quietly. I'm going to go back to cardioid mode. So I'm talking there, and this is how, you know, the normal stream goes. Like, "Hey man, watch out! Yeah, let's go over to checkpoint B." Whatever, I don't know. I'm as you can tell, this is unscripted. So you know, and then you say something quieter, but then you start, you know, like, "Boom, headshot, baby." it's not going to blow the mic out. It's not going to get so hot where it starts distorting. It actually does a really good job of balancing out, again, your sound. This is the biggest selling point, is the automatic gain control. I can just talk. I don't have to stress out about constantly adjusting volumes. Dial it into that sweet spot. So when you're talking normal, you're at like that 80% mark, and then just let the mic do its thing from there. So that's the ROCCAT Torch. Hopefully that gives you a good idea what to expect. Now we're going to try the microphone mute, because I had it turned off a second ago. So let's try this again. Now I'm back on. The cool thing about the whole proximity mute thing is it doesn't require you to touch it. It's just a silent mute. There's no pops or anything in the signal. That helps a lot for your stream. So again, if you don't have, a Stream Deck or something else that separates the audio controls, that's a really cool add. I'm glad it's a proximity-based mute and not a hardware-based. Otherwise, you'd have those clicks and pops during the stream. So that's the ROCCAT Torch. Okay, now I'm talking to you on the Samson Meteor mic, which has a pretty good pickup pattern. It's has some warmth to it, so if you have a bassy voice or you want to capture that bass, it does a good job at it. The only problem with the Meteor mic is it doesn't do a good job at handling clipping or too loud of a signal. So if you like to yell on your mic and you say, boom, headshot, it will distort. There's no way around it. It's just the microphone will pick up and has kind of a more narrow window of operation, which can hurt you when you're streaming. All right, now I'm talking to you on the Elgato Wave 3, which it's almost a $200 mic. It's $190 with the pop filter add-on, which puts it at almost double the price as the ROCCAT Torch. So naturally, it should sound a little bit better, which to me it does. It's a little bit more clear. You still get the clip guard, so if you sell, boom, baby, headshot, it doesn't clip out. It does a really good job at managing the gain controls. Similar functionality to the Torch with some of the on-mic buttons. There's a capacitive mute instead of a proximity mute. And the little button on the front can be used as a mixer for mic sensitivity and mic monitoring. So it's fairly capable. You're basically paying double for a little bit more sound quality. Whether you can hear the difference or not on this is one thing. But anyway, that's what you're getting. Obviously, there's software with the Wave, but that's a much different setup. Again, almost double the price. Okay, now I'm talking to you on the Movo UM300 mic. It's a $60 mic. It sounds okay, but it runs a little hot, so you have to turn the sensitivity down on Windows. There is a much more narrow window of operation as far as volume goes. So if you tend to scream a lot and you say, yeah, baby, look at that. Do you see that? When that happens, this mic distorts, and that's the benefit you get by upgrading to a mic like the Torch, which obviously sounds a little better as well. All right, now I'm talking to you on the Blue Yeti, which it's a very sensitive mic. It has really good sound quality, as you can tell. Part of what you're paying for this size is literally just the pure sound quality. The downside to the Yeti is the limited audio volume that you have to work with. It's not as dynamic as the Torch or the Wave 3. So if you like to yell in your game and you're talking, then all of a sudden you yell and you say, boom, headshot, baby, it will distort. That's just the nature of the Yeti. Good sounding mic, but again, it all depends on how well you can control your volumes and distance to the microphone. It's sensitive in that regard. All right, so that wraps up the review of the Torch. This went longer than expected, as per usual. I could talk about this stuff quite a bit, but I really wanted to get those other features out there because at $100, there's some really cool things about this. You get this bass that's built in. The mic tilts forward and back, which is cool. I like all the built-in controls, the proximity feature, that automatic gain adjustment so you don't clip out. It's almost like a compressor built into the unit. All that comes down to just basically saying at $100, oh, and by the way, this has a pop filter built in at $100. So unlike Elgato, which charges $160 for the mic, and then for an extra $30, you get this pop filter add-on. This is half the price, essentially, with that pop filter to get everything built in. Super, super nice. I love that they do that. Another cool thing that I didn't know before, when it's not being used, it goes into this standby mode where the RGB lights turn off. When you're either muted or you're actually streaming, that's when you get all the RGB controls and you'll see things change. You also get that little mic mute indication on the front there. And if the mic is on, it says live at the bottom. So that you could tell, this is built for people who want good production, good performance on your stream, but you're trying to stay within a budget. And they respect your budget because they're not saying buy it at $100, but then it's $20 for this and $50 for this. This is basically all you need. Everything in the box for $100. So for that price point, it's amazing. For PlayStation people, yes, this does work on PlayStation 5. You can stream on it and benefit from all the stuff I talked about. The volume control does not work on PlayStation 5. The other thing is when the mic is enabled on a PS5, you can't use a wireless gaming headset. You have to use the headphone output built into this. It's an all or nothing affair, so you can't split the audio. But it's cool that at least it gets detected. So I think it's a solid entry at $100. You got to keep in mind, you know, this is comparing it to other ones like the Yeti or the Samson Meteor mic. Even the Elgato Wave 1, which is still more expensive but has less controls than this built in. This is a really good value, and I think it's a great first entry from ROCCAT on the dedicated microphone side. So it may not be for every single person out there, but again, when you factor in at the end of the day, your stream performance really comes down to managing your audio levels in addition to sound quality. This has a great balance of both at $100. So if you're looking for just getting the most out of your dollar, that people may not notice that little extra step on the more expensive mic, this is an excellent microphone option, and I think it's going to fill a lot of people's needs and make a lot of people happy. Because there's no drivers that are required to install, it's all done on the unit. That means you don't have to worry about CPU overhead impacting your game performance. There's no extra software to install and update or more junk to put on your computer. You just plug it in and go, have a good stream, and have good sound quality. So I hope you guys found this review helpful. I tend to go overboard with details because there's a lot I want to share with this, but it's got a lot of great stuff on it. That 24-bit, 48,000 hertz, $100, that's awesome. So I hope you found the review helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you think this is the right microphone for you, I will have purchase links in the description below. If it's available on Amazon, I always put an Amazon link in there. Doesn't change the price at all. It just helps support the channel because, as you can tell, I buy a lot of this stuff as well, and I use the YouTube channel to fund that so we can make more content for you guys. So if not, buy it where you can find it. It's a good mic. Thank you guys so much for the support. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.